What's up, War Report family? I am your host, C Dub. It's Big Cat Weekend, and oh, what a weekend it's been so far. We'll discuss the recent additions to the 2024 class and discuss who could be next in the latest edition of the Weekend Tailgate.
This is the Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by Golden Cast Iron. C-Dub, I Joe, Be Will, My G. You are now listening to
Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Merry Flipmas. Happy Big Cat Weekend. Welcome to the latest edition of the Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by show sponsor Golden's Cast Iron, one of our more recent sponsors. Definitely appreciate them for their support and sponsoring some of the content we've been giving you guys. I know you guys have been enjoying the fireside chats courtesy of Golden's Cast Iron. With them, you get to grill out, work out, chill out. So we appreciate them for being our latest sponsor and for helping us to bring you some exclusive, never before seen content for the Auburn family. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us again. Do us a favor, share this video, smash that like button, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Guys, get yourself a green name. The season is almost upon us, and we never stop working. There's no such thing as an off season. So get access to some of our exclusive content. I tell them why and how they should do that.
Listen, you should do it because awesomeness only comes to those that take on the mantle of the Green Name Gang. How you do it is clicking that join button right there. And
good things come to those who wait. Awesomeness comes to those who seek the Lord and keep him close to his heart.
All you got to do is click the join button, man. We're giving you guys exclusive access to a lot of things, a lot more things coming up, man. So stay tuned for that. As the season gets closer, we'll start to reveal some more stuff that we got going on. But thank you to those of you who are already members. You can gift memberships just like James Stalling and Auburn Dad have done already today on the live show. You can gift a membership if you are a current member of the War Report, and somebody will get a free month on you. Another t-shirt giveaway today. Hashtag get your weight up in the live chat to be able to take advantage of this and potentially get yourself a free War Report shirt. And, listen, support the rest of the crew, man. Today, the College Loop went live for the first time. First time I've seen them go live. I don't know if it's the first time they've ever done a live broadcast. But they did their first Sunday live, as far as I know. Up-tempo podcast out here doing great things. They just did an interview with Zach Crotchfeld from the Auburn baseball team. So you guys make sure you go check them out on their YouTube. But yeah, man, hit all of them up on their podcast channels and get that great TWR Podcast Network content.
Let's go ahead and get into it. All four of us are here. Mike G, I'm gonna definitely be leaning on you as though you were boots on the ground, covering it live. We'll get your thoughts. You were there with us to kind of weigh in. B. Will, you weren't around. I want to hear your take, just kind of your feelings on what has transpired, where Auburn is, particularly heading in terms of this recruiting class going into fall camp. How are you feeling? What's the mood? I know you've been trying to temper your excitement. Are you how are you doing with that? Are you still tempering, or are you just going ahead and just let the Lord use you and just be happy?
I'm going to quote somebody who is an exceptional artist and lyricist who said, dropping bombs, Harry Truman. Okay. All right.
There we go.
This is appropriate because I saw Oppenheimer.
Oh man, that's funny.
I just saw Oppenheimer. All right. I got
that's
a wife and
lyric for
kids.
y'all right there, boy.
I cannot watch movies at regular time, so the local movie shows, theater shows movies at like 9 a.m. I went at 9 a.m. on Sunday. and saw Oppenheimer, which is the only time it was ever going to be possible. Okay, so I saw Oppenheimer.
You so old. Go ahead.
Yeah. I thought about that line, and then I thought about the day that we had yesterday. A warning shot would be one way to describe the flips that we've had over the last week or so. This is more than that. This is the blueprint had been laid out from what Nick Saban had been doing in recruiting since he got to Bama. He made it an arms race, also appropriate if you've seen Oppenheimer. Recruiting became an arms race more than just a pitch and sell. It's still a pitch and sell is still part of the process. But what it is do you have the ammunition? Do you have what it takes to get the weapons made so we can use them? Brian Harsin did not. He wasn't even trying to build the bomb. He wasn't concerned with it. He was like, we're just going to go win the war. Let's go win the war. We're going to not have enough weapons to win the war, but we're just going to win it, right? Gus was trying, but he really wasn't doing a great job. Some people would disagree with that. I don't think the success rate of the highest recruits that we've got, I think that pretty much spells out what it's been like for when we do land big recruits, even if we get them, which we usually did not. But if we did, what did they turn out being here? Okay. Or not on the field. One or the other. They didn't see the field, or they saw it in a limited fashion, didn't contribute, or they were okay. Hugh Freeze turning Alabama leans and Georgia commits into Auburn commits who are shutting down recruitment and recruiting other players to play for Auburn. I haven't seen this. Recruiting now is different than it was like 20 years ago, right? So, of course, you can say, yeah, well, he's back then when somebody would recruit to a class, they would recruit other guys. Yeah, I didn't see that, though. There wasn't social media in 2002. I didn't see what it was like when Ben Obamanu committed in 2003, and that was like dramatic. Did he bring other guys in? Were they camping like they camp now? There wasn't a big cat weekend, right? What's happening now is the best recruiting that has ever been done at Auburn. Mike G made the statement that this is the best recruiter we've had as a head coach. I think was that on show? Was that on Morning Drop, Mike G?
Yeah, I think it was on live.
He is the best recruiter we've ever had in the head coach's seat. But not only that, I think we've got two of the best recruiters we've ever had in Zach Etheridge, Caddy, Trevon Reed, off field. Three of the best recruiters we've ever had on a single staff under the best recruiting head coach we've ever had. This is way bigger than just one or two flips, though. This is bigger than one or two flips. Does it have me excited? Yes, I'm not more excited for this season because these guys won't have an impact on this current season. But come on, man. Like, we've never been able to compete at this scale. Not really. If we ever flipped a guy that had that Georgia had a hand on or that Bama had a hand on, it was a surprise. I don't even know if we flipped anybody. We may have gotten a guy like Derek Brown, right? Georgia was after Derek Brown hard because he was in Georgia. He was a Georgia guy. He was a can't-miss prospect, and he was just as good as he was billed to be. But the relationships developed down here. I know he was apparently Pat Dye had an impact on Derek Brown, so it worked. And he bought in. He was an Auburn man the moment he got here. The pitch and the appeal of Auburn appealed to Derek Brown. But 9 times out of 10, we weren't able to pull that off. I don't think we weren't favored for any of the guys who we have gotten committed or who we could possibly still get. Bolden was looking really chummy with all the rest of these dudes, man. Are we that? Man, come on. Come on. There was a crystal ball out. I can't remember which national recruiting dude said it. He tweeted out a month out. This was like early July, a month out from his commitment. And I have Ohio State leading for Khalil Bolden. He then quoted himself and said, a week out from his commitment, I no longer have Ohio State leading for Khalil Bolden. Big Cat weekend, just like that. You muted, see.
Talking about Chad Simmons?
I think that was him. What we're seeing now is we are finally able to keep up in the arms race. And that's still only half the battle because we have to turn good players into wins, double-digit win seasons, SEC championships, playoff wins. Like that's the next step, right? But damn, this is where you start. This is where it needs to start. Instead of hoping that we can develop and have a lucky season every 4 years, this feels like we have a much higher chance of getting those double-digit win seasons, of getting those SEC championships, of getting those playoff wins when you can start with the best talent, and not just the best talent that you were competing with for by developing it out of guys who weren't necessarily as wanted. No, just get the guys who everybody knows this is a ridiculous dude. Everybody wants him, but you got him. I can't remember the last time Auburn could do that with any kind of consistency, but it seems like we're finally getting there.
Mike, you were there covering live, and an amazing job, by the way, of catching Thompson's interview. I think Walker White walked up to him. I think Malik walked up to him as well. I think one of the things that we've been hearing these recruits talk about, and obviously this is a big part of Auburn's brand, is the family and atmosphere, the family environment. Oftentimes we hear that Auburn is a family. We are the Auburn family. But I think it's interesting when you see someone like a Zaquan Patterson out of Florida come visit Auburn for the first time this year, actually, and come away saying this is a family environment. Then you have a DeAndre Carter coming from California, come away from this weekend saying this feels like family.
Yeah. He tweeted at him, said, come home.
What are they seeing? What are they seeing at Auburn? What are they seeing when they visit that confirms that message of the Auburn family? What is it that they're experiencing?
You know what's crazy was I had a friend in town yesterday who we all went to school with. So I'll respect her privacy. But like we were talking about how you never lose that family feeling when it comes to Auburn. Like it's always there, right? It's why our channel exists. It's, you know, 2 decades old friendships. Auburn is different. It was interesting. I got a chance to talk to Grandma Riddick, right? I saw Grandma Riddick out there. And if you don't know, that's DeMarcus Riddick's grandmother. So he was the recent 5-star commit that came in, and we were talking about home and family and how when you're wearing something that says Auburn and you're at the airport on the other side of the country, there's no way somebody who is also wearing something that says Auburn is going to walk by and not acknowledge you. That doesn't happen. It's sacrilege for it to happen, right? You know, it might be the 7th deadly sin. 2 Bama people can walk by each other with Bama shirts on and not say anything because it doesn't mean anything to them. So in Auburn, it means something different. And I think that the recruits come in and they feel that it's something that's very difficult to put into words. But hear me out. Did you see that? You guys saw the video of them throwing Hugh Freeze in the pool after Thompson committed. Guys who were committed other places were celebrating the commitment like he just hit the lottery and told him he was going to share it 20% with everybody that was there. It was crazy. And I'm like, the excitement was palpable and that energy. And so you got Walker White walking around like the Prince of Recruiting.
More on that later.
Yeah. He gives me sunshine vibes. You know, seen that person? Yeah. Right. He gives me sunshine vibes. He definitely gives me Surfer Boy vibes. But like, it was incredible to see how these guys feel like they're already a team before they've stepped on campus together. They're squatting up now. Which is great for Hugh Freeze. He's creating that feeling and that teamwork. And when you talk about culture, he's building culture before these guys get on campus.
Yeah.
That's what's different. Hear me out. Hugh Freeze is building team culture before anybody steps on campus, officially as a student at Auburn University. That's what they're feeling. So all you have to do is convince one. Did y'all ever have that homegirl that was like the hot girl that was the wingman? And you knew nothing was going on with y'all, but other girls didn't know that.
No, I never had that happen. No.
So to be fair, I did have that, but I'm now married to her. So
okay.
something wasn't.
She snuck in, right? So
I
mean,
snuck
this
in.
is
No, give me my credit. I snuck in, but
okay.
continue.
She said, "I'm a wingman myself."
I'm a foolish.
So at the end of the day, once one domino starts to fall, and people start to see, hey, like, what does this guy, this top 50 player, see in Auburn? Then they call each other and they talk. Cam Coleman told me 4 weeks ago that Perry Thompson was flipping. We dropped hints. I didn't want to come out. I didn't want to put Cam out there like that. Mm-hmm. Now that it's final, I can say it. He was just like, dude, yeah, I know I'm going to A&M, but Thompson's flipping. Perry's coming. He's going to Auburn.
I mean, he told KJ Bolden the same thing. KJ came out and said it yesterday. He was like, man, I knew weeks ago.
I knew. Yeah, he knew. He knew when he was coming. So it was, once this kind of network of family and players get together and they start talking, you know, it's so funny. You know how many players are like friends with like Bryce Young's people on our team? Right? Like there's a network of players and family that all talk to each other. And what Hugh Freeze is doing is he's building a behind the scenes culture that's being talked about amongst players and families inside their network. And it's paying dividends. And then all you have to do is get on campus and see the manifestation of that. Duke and I were walking outside the new athletic department. It is directly adjacent to the old AC. Mm-hmm. And he was like, didn't that used to be the AC? And I was like, yeah. If you don't know what that means, Student Activity Center, right? It's where Ike and B would go down there and ball. Brian may not remember this. We used to go down to work out and get in these 185-pound burnout bench press contest. He was killing me at that, by the way, back in the day. But we were walking around campus and we were like, man, you know, that was the old part, but this part where they had the pool party is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the walk, the landscape, all of it, man. They created a whole experience. The entrance to the athletic department for Big Cat. Soon as you stepped in, you knew you were at Big Cat. I tried to post a picture to show people what the vibe was like. It was insane. It was a whole vibe. So then you got recruits saying, you know what? I want to come to Auburn specifically to do these fireside chats because they're amazing. I want to sit down and I want to talk with other players, and I want to be able to be myself, just like those guys said on that video. We can be ourselves here. That's what he did. So Thompson made his commitment. Everybody got crunk for him. They threw Hugh Freeze in the pool. I was scared for Freeze for a second, right? It was an aggressive throw. Like, they threw him in the ball. Like, I don't know if you got heard somebody in the back. Oh, man. All right. And I was like, uh-oh. I hope he's read up on that Aflac policy. But they had so much fun yesterday, and you could see it when they did a scavenger hunt, guys, and people were like running to golf carts, actively trying to win this scavenger hunt. Nobody even showed up and was trying to play it cool or be the cool guy or anything like that. They just had fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing to watch. I thought it was a well-executed Big Cat weekend. And there are two more players on the list that I think if Hugh Freeze pulls either one of them, this will be the most excellent year one recruiting job we've seen ever at Auburn. I'll repeat it. The most excellent year one recruiting job we've ever seen at Auburn. If he gets DeAndre Carter or KJ Bolden to come to the Plains. Crazy. It was nuts to watch yesterday. So, you could see the energy. Ike was like, get Trevon. And Caesar was like, Trevon, we done yet? And he was like, nah, top 5. That's what he thinks. That's what he believes. He believes that Auburn can finish top 5. Pull one more 5-star recruit, and they're going to be close. What are they now? I think they're like
they're 20,
17.
Just
17
17
on the service.
Depending on which recruiting service you look at.
I think 247 has us as 17. Rivals has us as 24.
Okay, whatever service has Auburn the highest, that's what we're going with.
Fair enough.
Right.
I'm sure what On 3 has,
but the average star rating, how much did it climb? They were 6th in terms of average star rating. I think they're at like 91
4th
something.
or 5th.
Yeah, I think they're higher than that actually.
They jumped. They should have jumped up after Tom.
Yeah.
So this is an excellent job. This is an excellent job, not only getting numbers, but getting quality. Once they fill out the 3 stars on the back end, I think this will easily be a top 10 class, guys. Because they only have I know we got a graphic with all the commits so far.
We do. We're going to bring that up.
I don't want to jump into that, but it is amazing what they're doing. I did get a chance to ask Thompson, hey, and I did this specifically for Brian because, and you may not have heard the question because the mic was low, but I said, listen, Perry.
Everybody heard it. Trust me, I have seen it quoted several times on message boards and Twitter. So
yeah, the first part of it was like, hey, I have a friend named Brian, and he can't get excited unless he knows you're shutting it down. So, are you going to have more visits? Because he doesn't want to get excited till December, and I don't want him to be sad that long. And just for you, Brian.
Yeah, that part didn't get caught on mic. You're right.
Yeah, the mic was kind of low when you said that.
Yeah. I was wondering what that long silence was in there, but that
was it. It was me. It was me making a plea on Brian's behalf for him to shut down his recruiting, so Brian can get excited now, and not in December after the LOI is signed.
I appreciate it.
So, I got you, bro. So he said, he kind of shook his head and gave it's kind of a done deal. And I think that there's no way you can 100% say there's no way I'm flipping, because what if, I don't see it happening, but the same way we're talking about how Cam could change his mind if Jimbo gets fired between now and December. I think it's possible, but it would take an act of God to move his commitment after all of this.
Right.
He put a lot of thought. He decided a while ago that he was flipping. Like, this wasn't a yesterday decision. He made his reasoning a month ago.
Mike, he was like, they tried to get me to go to that little cookout or barbecue. He threw Lil in front of it, referring to Bama's event this past weekend. I'm not. They want me to go to a little barbecue.
Oh, no, I didn't see
he
that.
Said that. No, when he was talking to Mike, he said they wanted me to go to the little cookout or a little barbecue. He said little.
Hey man, we need to put that on shirts. That little cookout.
He said that. I heard that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely got to go back here.
He's over it.
I put that on Twitter right now.
He's over it.
The streets are saying they need that.
He's over it. So you're right. It will take an act of God.
I think it would take an act of God, essentially, to flip his commitment at this point. Somebody's going to get fired, or Auburn's going to have
little cookout thing. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Beautiful. Little cookout thing. He threw a little in there. There was a little shade in there.
Yeah. That's amazing. But the other thing that you heard, it was consistent, and then I'll throw it back to you, Caesar, is that these guys want to be part of the resurgence of Auburn football. They think there's a solid foundation for them to be a part of starting something here. And faced with the prospect of going someplace else where it's already established and being,
I was about to start singing Michael Jackson. I think B was the only person that saw me doing that. My
bad. Being a cog in a wheel that's already kind of moving, this signifies a shift, I think, for Hugh Freeze and staff, because you have to start somewhere. To catch up to Saban, Kirby had to start somewhere. And nobody believes it until it happens. Right. And then Kirby got to that 2017 national title game, and he was one to a savior throw away from beating him. And now he's got 2 national titles under his belt, back to back. He's got the hottest program in the country, and they just gave him the time. But it started with recruiting. You know, I think Brian did a good job of just explaining this is where it starts. It starts with recruiting. You'll hear me repeat this because there are a lot of people who don't remember these quotes. And so we say them over and over again so you guys understand that the coaches understand. Hugh Freeze said weeks ago, if we are not in the top 7 in recruiting by year 3, everybody here is going to be looking for a job. He gets it. You have to go out and you have to convince the Perry Thompsons of the world to come to your program. And it's only going to get harder with Oklahoma and Texas joining. So start now. He's getting a jump start on those guys coming to the conference and recruiting against him. I would argue they probably already are in anticipation of joining the conference. You're already competing with Oklahoma and Texas, and divisions are going away.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to lay a foundation that says we're going to be able to compete long term. You can accomplish all your goals at Auburn. You can enjoy your 4 years or 3 years or however long you're going to be in college. Right here at Auburn, you can win a Heisman here. You can win a national title here. You can win an SEC championship here. You can win the Thorpe. You can win the Maxwell. You can do all that stuff at Auburn. And you can start a legacy that is your own, that will stand out. Think about Cam's Heisman. How much more do you guys think it stands out that he did it at Auburn rather than Bama? His Heisman is more impactful as an Auburn Heisman winner, I think, than it would have been as a Bama Heisman winner. He's been just another guy who won a championship at a team that just, people just say, oh, it's Bama. Like they get the benefit of the doubt. But when you come to Auburn and you do it, it stands out. And for right now, I think that's an effective pitch for Hugh Freeze. Right. Come to Auburn and stand out. No, the energy was palpable. I thought they just did such a good job. Jeremy Garrett his personality is infectious. He was so much fun to talk to. If I were a recruit and that guy was going to be my coach, I'm on board. Trevon, Zach Etheridge. I saw Zach Etheridge talking to a big time recruit right before he left. And the sell that's going on from that end is that you can tell, man, like these guys they have their full attention. Auburn football has the full attention of America's high school recruiting right now. And Hugh Freeze is putting everybody on notice. Watch out, man. They're not done in this class yet either. They're not done at all. Once they fill it out, I started to think the top 10 was a possibility. And we talked about maybe top 15 would be a good job in year 1. But one more composite 5-star, and you're definitely talking about top 10, and you're possibly talking about top 5. I think right now Auburn stands 7th in terms of SEC recruiting, 17th in the country, but still only 7th in the conference.
Yeah,
that's how hyper competitive this is. So they can do it, man. They can jump some of these guys. Keep taking them from Kirby and Saban, man. I'm blown away by this. This is such a great job. This is why you hired him. Right. Now he's just got to put the proof of concept on the field. And if they start out 4-0 somehow, good luck to everybody else.
Yeah. And that's what me and Ike were talking about while you were off, Mike, is if you take the success that he's having right now and you couple it with an 8-4 season in year 1.
Right.
That only gives you even more momentum and steam because recruits actually are seeing the improvement year over year.
Right.
And so now it's no longer I'm vision casting. We're actually doing it. Come on to Auburn and be a part of it. Now the next step is getting to the SEC championship. Now the next step is getting to national championships, playoff contention. They are able to see proof of concept in addition to the excitement that's already there. The excitement is only going to build if you couple this with on-field success, which is what we're definitely hopeful for to see in year one. Obviously, we expect them to be an even more improved team in year two. There's a lot that we are looking forward to seeing in a few weeks. Let's grab some supers.
I got
we're
this
gonna
funny feeling KJ Bolden.
You got this
might
funny
be-
feeling.
Yeah, that KJ Bolden might.
Is that what is a funny feeling?
Yeah.
Or was it KJ Bolden looking very happy among the Auburn commits?
Yeah, I mean, call it what you want.
Okay.
I got a feeling. I got a feeling. KJ Bolden is.
I'm Nostradamus. I said something. Was it
Possibility.
photographs and smiles?
Listen, a lot of stuff can mean things
Listen,
you
Mike,
don't think it means, but
listen,
like I'm just saying.
Listen,
Right,
if it happens, you got to promise Auburn dad that you're gonna get crunked
Get
up.
croaked
all
up,
right?
yes.
Yeah, you got to get
I'll
croaked
do
up.
that. I'll
Please
do
don't,
that over
please.
the other thing. Get croaked up.
Man, please.
Get croaked up.
We're trying to capture the 16 to 30 demographic. It is not going well with this crunked up.
Oh man, Chase, good to see you, buddy. He says Mike G in whisper voice. Now it's Yahtzee, whatever. That's
Yeah.
the Mike G spin on Yahtzee. It's Yahtzee
that's
or whatever.
Yeah, see.
The best recruiting Auburn has ever done. You can't even give a full-throated Yahtzee.
Full.
I ain't gonna full Lord at anything. But yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Stuart Donald says this week has made me so happy, and knowing that my happiness is making the fans of Gump Tech, like that name by the way, miserable just
Gump
makes
Tech.
me even more happier.
Yeah, like listen, the tears are real.
Roll tears,
They're real.
roll.
Yeah, we talked about like
And they should be.
the cue the we didn't want him anyway crowd. No,
Yeah.
it's getting to the point where that sounds ridiculous.
Mhm.
Absolutely everybody wanted Perry Thompson.
Yeah.
You like now you
you
can
had
argue, yeah, right. You can argue that our class will survive without him because we recruit well. Okay, like I can accept that. But let's not act like this didn't hurt. This hurt.
Absolutely. DeMarcus Riddick hurt too, by the way.
It hurt. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more pain coming.
Yeah. Auburn Dad says, saying it again, let's go. If Hugh wants it, he can get it. Let you know. War
Pause.
Eagle. Yeah, no. All right. Very unlikely.
Just keep pairing them comments with super chats. I'm good with it. Oh my goodness.
Very unlikely says anyone in Auburn gear that doesn't acknowledge me or saying War Eagle confuses them are yard sale imposters. As an Auburn grad from Virginia, all I can say is a special place, hard to put in words.
Yeah, you don't
Must
know.
agree with you, Perry.
You don't know until you know, right?
You're an imposter if you don't get it.
Yeah, that is painful when it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is. And if Auburn is on the uptick, I suspect that more likely to happen too, because people are bandwagoners. So it's likely to have people who don't get that rocking Auburn gear out in public. SS Austin says the fact that Auburn has made more top in-state recruits than Bama right now is crazy.
Okay,
to
can we
think
talk about this
about.
for a second?
Also, Aldrich is recruiting crazy right now with linebackers. Agreed on both fronts. Go ahead, Mike.
I think they're one ahead of Bama right now in terms of in-state recruits. So this will be a significant statistic to look at when recruiting is done. Because Saban has been just having, it's like, hey, I'm gonna get what I need, and everybody else gets the leftovers. Kirby will come in and block a good one. Dabo would come down here and grab somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Jimbo came in and got Cam Coleman. Getting these guys in your literally in your backyard, within an hour drive of your campus, is necessary. When you reside in a recruiting hotbed and you cannot convince top-tier athletes to come to your school, that is a significant blow to your efforts. Alabama is one of the hottest recruiting places in the country. It's the most fertile recruiting grounds in the country. You can't be here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You live in Alabama and you say you never had no good barbecue. What? You live in Alabama. So I I'm telling you, the focus on good recruiting classes for Auburn are built out of Alabama, Georgia, Florida. You have to recruit those 3 states.
Yeah. Mississippi for us too. We've done well with Mississippi.
Mississippi, yeah. I'm just saying, I think the core of that is all those states that touch Alabama. You've got to recruit well out of those states.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then you've got no shot, because you're not going to go and pull a top 10 class from guys across the country.
Right.
You go and get like Carter. It's Carter, right? That's from California, right? I mean, you go and you get, every once in a while you get a guy like that, from across the country. But it's built at home, and I don't know if there are any strong examples of top programs who build great recruiting classes not strongly based within 300 miles of their campus.
Mike, what makes this egregious to me is that you have schools, and I mentioned this to Ike yesterday when we were live. You have schools like Bama and Georgia that can actually stand to overlook some of your in-state kids because you're recruiting nationally. Your footprint is much larger, so you can recruit from Hawaii, you can recruit from California, you're going to get the top guys in your state, but you can overlook perhaps maybe guys ranked from 5 to 15 in state.
Right.
You can overlook those guys, but the fact that we weren't even getting those guys, the fact that LSU and Clemson and Georgia and Florida was coming in and getting those guys was egregious to me.
Right.
Like Bama is saying, all right, you can have them, but you're still not getting them. And I think now what we're seeing is a head coach that's saying, we're absolutely going to box out everyone outside of state. But even the guys that Bama is claiming that's reserved for them, that's not reserved for you anymore, Playboy. You got to fight us for it. And you got to work for it. You may win your fair share of battles, but trust me, you will have been through a battle to get that kid.
Yeah.
The days of us just rolling over and letting you get whoever you want in this state, that's over.
You know what may be going understated in this whole discussion is if Hugh Freeze lands a top 5 recruiting class in year 1, the NIL floodgates are going to open and the money is going to fall from NIL heaven like manna on the plains. He will have such a strong case to the money people that if you put the cash behind the collective, we can get anybody we want. Yeah. So they weren't willing to put their money behind Harsin. I think it's pretty clear.
They had their reasons. Goodness.
And he has something to do with saying, like, listen, I will reward you for putting your dollars behind us by working hard and going out and convincing these kids. And if he can pair that with results on the field, good luck, man. I just think you'll see money coming in from everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
If I'm a booster and I'm sitting on millions and I'm donating to the program, I still want, I love Auburn, but I still want to see a return on my investment.
Yeah.
I want to know that I'm donating to a program that's taking those dollars and using it to build facilities or develop athletes or just win.
Facts.
But, love of Auburn only goes so far, man, when it comes to money.
Right.
At some point, you have to know that it is a good investment.
Lil Ricky says, appreciate the super chat. He says, if we land KJ Bolden, we will land top 4 or 5. So he's definitely calling. He agrees with Trevon Reed there. Appreciate you, Lil Ricky. Hope you had enjoyed your birthday. As you mentioned yesterday. Auburn Dad for Life says, B Will, we are bringing back Get Crunked Up.
Nah, I mean, y'all got it.
Oh, they got it all right. They bringing it back. That's what he said. But anyways, what we're gonna do is coming up. We're gonna look at who we have currently committed. And I definitely want to ask you guys some questions about who we have currently committed to this class, and kind of continue the discussion in terms of who we could potentially add to this class. But guys, you're watching the Weekend Tailgate. 600 of you guys in here, which some of you, at least half of you, should be able to do. Do this for me. Do this for C-Dub. Share this video, guys. Share it on social media.
Do it for the dub.
Smash the like button. You see that little thumbs up there?
Hashtag
Like
do it for the dub.
this. Do it for the dub. Smash that like button. Subscribe to those of you who are new to the channel. Let's take time out to acknowledge our show sponsors, pay some bills. We'll be right back, y'all.
This edition of the War Report is brought to you by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Harmon Mechanical, a heating and air company offering premier service to the Auburn area and surrounding areas. Give them a call at 334-219-0717 or head over to their website at harmonmechanical.com. Let them know the War Report sent you. Harmon Mechanical. We're there when you need air. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, head over to GWT2Energy.com. Yes, indeed. Sponsors of the War Report are awesome, and you are awesome if you are a member of the War Report. I mean, you're awesome if you're just here listening to us, but like there's a special category of awesome that you can put yourself in by being a member of the War Report. And we appreciate everybody who continues to do that. We appreciate our current members who gift memberships. So definitely shout out to those folks. Again, thank you, Auburn Dad, and who was the other one? James Stalling, for doing gifted memberships already in this broadcast. If you're in the live chat right now and you would like to get in on the drawing for the War Report t-shirt, you need to hashtag get your weight up right now in the live chat. We'll do that drawing here in about 20 minutes. You got to be present to win. Hashtag get your weight up in the live chat. TWR Pod Network is the College Loop, the Auburn Express, and the Up Tempo podcast. We appreciate everybody who continues to listen to us on all of your podcast services. A lot of great pod-only content going to start cranking up as we get closer to the season. Make sure you are tuned in over there. Today's show is sponsored by Golden's Cast Iron. Head over to goldenscastiron.com. Use code get your weight up to get 15% off of the weights, and code TWR for $65 off of fire pits and Kamado grills. And new show sponsor, HelloFresh.
Hey.
Head to HelloFresh.com/rapport50. Use code rapport50 to get 50% off of your purchase over there, and you get free shipping on your first order. HelloFresh wants you to have it all: free time and fresh, tasty food. That's why they take care of the meal planning and the delivery and deliver the ingredients. So everything you need to whip up a delicious meal arrives right at your door. HelloFresh gets that options to you when it comes to what you want to make for dinner, not just the same old thing all the time. That's why they have 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so that you'll never get bored and can always find something new to try and love. Again, head over to HelloFresh.com/rapport50. Use code rapport50 for 50% off of your free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Make sure you head over there.
Let's go ahead and Ike, let's pull up the list of recruits that are currently committed to the class. You see them there below. I'm not going to read them all out to you. You guys know who they are. One of the things that I did want to ask you guys about, let's have a conversation here. It was posed to us as a question as to kind of the first, I want to say the first domino falling, but that first big recruit. And I want to talk about Walker White. He was kind of all over the place. You know, he's been heavily recruiting on social media, building relationships with the other commitments or recruits. And I saw video was seeing that he was throwing with Bryce Kane. He may have actually been throwing with Malcolm Simmons as well. I'm not sure, but I know Bryce Kane for sure. He already talks about the relationship that he's built with Perry Thompson and how they get along really well. How important has he been as it pertains to, I mean, Dukes to Scoop says we have, in terms of the more athletic receivers, Perry Thompson, Bryce Kane, Malcolm Simmons. How big of a deal has Walker White's commitment been to securing the receivers that we have currently committed to us right now? Ike, your thoughts on Walker White's impact on our ability to bring in these guys, understanding who's going to be throwing them the ball?
Yeah, I think it's been, I don't even know a great word other than absolutely critical. We talked about this a little bit last season as we were getting into the recruiting cycle. And one of the big things a lot of people say is you got to have a quarterback to kind of be the cornerstone of your recruiting class, because the quarterback getting in there is what makes receivers want to come, makes offensive linemen want to come. And I think that Walker White has done an amazing job of being proactive and going out there and finding guys that he knows are talented. He realizes they are talented. And so he's saying, giving them a recruiting pitch to come along. Hasn't paid the dividends yet in the offensive line room, but the wide receivers definitely doing work there. And I don't know that you can replace the kind of charisma and enthusiasm that he's brought to this recruiting class. I just don't know that it works the same way if the guy making the pitch is another wide receiver or a DB, right? Like, we had some DBs come in, like Amon Lane's been great out there being very proactive and getting people. I just don't know that wide receivers respond to the fact to a defensive back saying, come play at Auburn. But a quarterback who looks like he knows what he's doing, you can develop a good camaraderie with him, good rapport with him, that pays dividends. So Walker White has been crucial to pulling this class together and getting the talented guys on the outside that he's going to have as targets going into the future.
Thoughts on this, Mike B? If you want to speak on it, I can go on to the next question if you want.
Oh, man, I mean, look at this list, right? I mean, this so far is a pretty well-balanced list, in my opinion, right? You've got your quarterback, you've got your QB of the future, you've got some guys for him to throw to, you've got a dynamic running back, you've added tight ends, you've got defensive ends, defensive backs, linebackers. They got some work to do with guys to block for these offensive guys. So, I think somebody had noted is, we need to get some offensive linemen in here, but they're working on that as well. This is I think it's clear again that they're recruiting to needs, to area of needs. And they're doing a really good job of being forward thinking in terms of where the hole is going to be at 1 to 2 years down the road. And let's just make sure that we're bolstering those positions. You got to have a quarterback. You got to have multiple quarterbacks. Walker White has this, how I'm trying to think of an example, guys, of a quarterback that went to a school and we know he's going to play. Like, it's not even a question. What's the kid that went to Texas?
Arch Manning,
right? Like, he's going to get a shot. Absolutely. No matter what, he's going to get a shot to play. And Walker White has that feel to me. Like, we're going to see Walker White throw a meaningful pass in an Auburn uniform, barring an act of God. And I don't know that I felt that way consistently about Auburn recruiting at that position for a while. Like, what are these guys going to be? Who's going to win? Think about it. Malik Willis never threw a meaningful pass as an Auburn Tiger. But he was good enough to get drafted. Yikes. So this is when I look at this list, that's the feeling it gives me. Like, these are guys who are definitely going to contribute. Nate Craig Myers was one of the best wide receivers coming out of high school. Was one of the best recruits Auburn has ever gotten to that position by the ratings, but did not contribute significantly here. And that story is a tale as old as time when it comes to Auburn football. Too many guys highly rated that come through, that we hear their names, we hear all the hype, and then they never contribute. Perry Thompson has to be a star here, man. Perry Thompson has to be a star. Like, they were comparing him to Julio Jones. And he was like, I don't want to be compared to Julio Jones. Well, you know what, young man? I'm sorry if you had to be compared to somebody. It's not a bad pick. Julio came in and he was I would be comparing him in terms of he is a guy who absolutely positively was a can't miss prospect, and he came in here and he killed it. And then he went on to the league and he validated why he was that dude. Now, Hugh Freeze recruited a guy who's okay at the next level named DK Metcalf. And he was a dynamic talent. He came in, he went on to the next level. I mean, he played like it. These recruits give me that vibe. Somehow, deep down in my spirit, I'm not less worried about guys coming in and not being that dude. Or getting buried in the roster and we don't hear from them again. This feels like a list of guys who will be here and will contribute, and we'll be talking about how great this recruiting class was 2 years from now. So they've got to change the narrative about Auburn football when these recruits talk about, like, hey, we're here to get it back to where it was. Some of them don't even realize you're here to get it to a place it's never been.
I mean, if you're talking about wide receivers, 100%. I mean, we've had the talent, but we've not utilized. I mean, listen, we've talked over and over about the last time we've had a 1,000-yard receiver, and forget the last time we've had it. Just how many in the history of the school have there been? Right? Like, there's just not a lot of examples of dynamic wide receiver play. There's not a lot of examples. That's why, this is going to sound like shade to him, but that's why Bo Nix holds so many freaking Auburn passing records. We didn't throw the ball. Yeah. If you're a school that never throws the ball and somebody comes along and they're throwing the ball more than everybody else, they better hold all the records.
Right.
So this is when I want to see every freaking record get smashed in the pass game. I want to see a quarterback go out there and put up ridiculous numbers. I don't care if they're Heisman numbers. I just want them to look like a proficient passing offense. I want to see wide receivers catch the ball for 800-900 yards on a consistent basis here at Auburn. Right. It'd be nice in the era of passing offenses. It'd be nice for us to join the party.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Let me ask you guys this in terms of, DeAndre Carter. He's one of the guys. He's a Rivals 100 offensive lineman. He's projected to play on the interior. Auburn likes where they stand with him. This kid didn't take an official visit yesterday. That wasn't an official visit. He paid that on his own dime to be at Auburn, which tells me how seriously he's considering this school. And you have to imagine that Auburn all but exceeded his expectations of coming back to visit. I think he's very important in terms of getting the dominoes falling in terms of O-line. I think he has to be a part of this class, in my opinion. Auburn is battling Texas and Michigan State. Those are the finalists in addition to Auburn for DeAndre Carter. And this is, of course, according to Caleb of Auburn Sports. But talk to me how important it will be to get him on board, in addition to the big names that we're seeing, the Thompsons, the DeMarcus Riddicks, maybe even KJ Bolden. Like, how critical is his commitment to this class? I'll start with you. B.
I think the critical work has already been done with getting all of these highly touted guys in the same place at the same time, not just to look around and say, oh, okay, yeah, this is cool, but to buy in to the culture. Like, the culture has been built for those guys. The guys who are already here, were already in the room. Hugh Freeze had 5-6 weeks with him in spring. So that culture is still resetting itself. He added a bunch of guys before spring started. He added a bunch of guys after spring as well. That culture is still being laid because a lot of those guys don't know their role. They don't know what the future holds for them as far as on field. But for the guys who are all being pitched the exact same thing right now, which is come here and build the legacy of successful and prominent Auburn football, I think that culture has been built. The foundation is already there for that. And we saw evidence of that yesterday with how those guys interacted with each other, with how much guys buy in after they commit, with how much they really seem to enjoy being around each other, their families being around the other people. Like, that's one thing I had never seen much of a recruiting weekend. So I was like, in my head, how much of this goes on behind closed doors? Because you're still selling the entire time. You're selling. If you are a coach, position coach, head coach, whatever, You are selling the university, you're selling the experience, you are selling the program, you are selling snaps. But I wonder how much of that got down to brass tacks talk. Like, all right, man, how many snaps am I to get? Because I would want to know. If I was a recruit, I would want to know how many snaps I'm going to get. But honestly, it didn't seem like that was the biggest focus. Now, it's not that they don't talk about that stuff, but as far as what we saw celebrated, we saw these guys saying, this is where I want to be, getting the biggest emotional response, having fun with each other. And as Mike said, it's not like it was forced, like, all right, guys, hey, we're going to go and find some stuff for a scavenger hunt. And then you go, all right, let's go. Y'all ever do those, what do you call them? Those icebreaker activities for like work meetings? It's the worst shit ever. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. It's the worst, most terrible thing ever. I am here for work so that I can get better at this stuff and get paid money. Don't make me try to like these people. If I like them, I like them. If I don't, I don't. We don't have to. What would your nickname be? I don't care what your nickname is. I don't care what none of this other stuff is. I don't want to break the ice. I want to work. Matter of fact, me having this icebreaker meeting instead of doing work is stupid. You can't build culture. And those meetings didn't make the culture better. When you're there and you work with people you actually like, there is no replacement for that. There's no amount of meetings or games or stories that can be told that can actually bridge the gap between, I really like you guys and I like being here with you, and I don't. I'm just here for a paycheck. I'm just here because I'm going to get snaps. What we saw yesterday seems to be the culture has already started. And that's why I don't think Andre Carter committing kickstarts a trail of, more O-line commits. I think that the culture is among all the elite players that get a visit, that talk to other players who have visited. As Mike already said, they know each other. Not too dissimilar from the AAU circuit in basketball. All these players know each other, man. When they're talking about where to go to play college ball, they know what the options are. They know who is a lot less spots open for basketball than there are for football, which is why you can't get too many of them teaming up. But like what you see in USC, Bronny James and all these AAU kids, like, look, they know. They talk to each other. They decide what coach they want to play for, what school's going to treat them the best. The advantage is already there. The foundation is laid. Andre Carter would be another domino to keep it going. But honestly, I think he keeps going whether he commits or not, because it's already done. DeMarcus Riddick may have been the first, honestly, because it wasn't just, I like y'all. It was, I like y'all more than Bama. I like y'all more than Bama, because he was apparently going to defect from Georgia no matter what. I like y'all more than Bama and Georgia, if you want to say that. Thompson is, I like this more than Bama. That little cookout, that said a lot. That little cookout says a lot about how much people want to be here. Elite players want to be at Auburn. They come to Auburn. They enjoy themselves at Auburn, and they enjoy being around each other. I can't recall how many times I've heard over the Gus Malzahn tenure, oh, well, they're looking like they're going to come as a package deal. You know how many times we got elite players that were going to come as a package deal? Never. Not once. Oh, we got 2 5-stars visiting this weekend. Didn't get them. Nope. They didn't come here. Because they were either selling it wrong or it wasn't authentic. It's always going to be Auburn, but are you making it to where these guys are looking forward to being here, and the value is in the people that are here, the other players that are here, the families that are here, and in the head coach being a part of the draw of Auburn University? This might be the first time, whether it's Carter now, Bolden next week, or some other elite guys that we got coming down the road. I think it's already in motion, and Carter looks great because do we have any O-linemen committed currently in the 24 class?
Not yet.
So that's why Carter would be great, but I don't think Carter's necessary to getting the O-line going. I think it's really just a matter of time before all of this just gets its own momentum and takes us to where we need to be.
Let me ask you guys this before we get to we're almost at the time for the drawing. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get to the drawing. We are giving away, ladies and gentlemen, giving away a t-shirt courtesy of GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Ike is ready to draw, and draw he does. Let's see who's
Yes,
going to
indeed.
win.
Had 118 entries this time. And B Rad. Haven't you won before?
Rad. He can win again.
I mean,
Let
it's
us
not a
know.
T-shirt, you could win again, yeah.
He's got to be here though. So B Rad,
sure.
let us know if you are here in the comments, guys. Be on the lookout for that, gentlemen. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. Let's talk about KJ Bolden. He's supposed to be announcing August 5th. This is the number 1 ranked player at his position nationally. 3rd ranked player in the state of Georgia. This is all according to Rivals. This is a big deal. And again, you're going to have a big time recruit at the 2nd level, and you're trying to land one at the 3rd level in terms of safety. From what I'm hearing, for the longest of time, it's been an Ohio State-Georgia battle. And B. Will, you was mentioning, I believe, Chad Simmons, who doesn't think that he doesn't feel confident Ohio State is leading at this point, a week out from his commitment. It appears as though Auburn, who has been on the outside looking in, found its way into the club, guys. And they may be at VIP.
I like that. See, that was good.
How we feeling about this kid? How we feeling about his decision? Because I think he mentioned Hugh Freeze is the last coach he's talking to. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah. Well, the schools that they're warm on him: Florida State, Oregon, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, Bama, and now Auburn. That's a list of really high profile suitors for KJ Bolden. Now he's gotten an offer from just about anybody who has a program, obviously. But again, this is another one of those prospects that could change your program. And if you pair him with enough other athletes that are of the same mold, it's an amazing get. But having DeMarcus Riddick and Perry Thompson so close together in terms of their commitments, I think increases Auburn's chances of landing because here's what's happening. These guys are hitting him up. I promise you. Thompson and Riddick are on the phone right now with KJ Bolden, making their pitch for him to come to Auburn. So I think Zach Etheridge and Josh Aldridge are his primary recruiters. I'm not 100% certain on that, but
strong too.
Yeah, right. I mean, Auburn's throwing their aces at him. And if he saw any of what happened this weekend, who was it? Ike, was it Walker White that Instagram lived Perry Thompson?
I mean, there was 12 players doing it, but that's the one I saw it on was Walker White's.
Oh, it's Walker White, yeah. So these guys are watching that. They're definitely watching that. KJ Bolden is suddenly what happens when you recruit this hard, and again, we talk about the proverbial dominoes starting to fall. Now doors are open that didn't previously seem open. Mm-hmm. And I expect Hugh Freeze to get one completely out of nowhere. Wait, how did they pull that off?
Like Can Lee last year, because I did not see that coming.
Right. Yeah, one completely out of nowhere pull. It's going to start to happen. And, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Yeah, strangely enough. And they're working really hard at recruiting. It's why I think it's important that Hugh Freeze has so many good coaches working for him so he can concentrate on this part of it, at least at this point in his Auburn coaching career. He knows he needs to put most of his energy into recruiting, and he needs his coordinators and his assistants to handle other things that he doesn't have to micromanage. You only got so much energy. They seem to be doing a decent job of handling these other things so that he can do this. But KJ Bolden, I expect there to be a full court press on KJ Bolden to close out the top tier of this class. Him and DeAndre Carter. Go out and get either one of those guys. And this is the best case scenario Auburn could have hoped for in year one of Hugh Freeze recruiting as Auburn's head coach. And I don't think anybody saw it coming. He's asked for patience to build. But right now, he underpromised and he's over-delivering.
That's how you do it.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's still preaching patience, but man, he's over-delivering based on the expectation that he set. With the understanding that he knows it has to trend up. They have to do better. So, man, Bolden would just be an insane get. We'll see how it goes. If you're Bolden, I think you're not losing a spot by waiting to commit. This is another one of these guys, right? That schools are going to wait on. They're going to save a spot for him. If they think he's coming, they will literally banish someone to the phantom realm.
And we just lost a safety off the roster, so
yeah, right. Like, I mean, they'll process somebody to make sure he has a spot. I mean, he just doesn't have to worry. He's not one of these kids that needs to commit now, or there won't be a spot for him at Bama. No. Or commit, or we're pulling our offer. We've seen Saban pull that before in the past as well, too. He's going to be like, okay, fine, pull it. He's going to land someplace that wants him for sure, because everybody wants him.
Well, according to Rivals, there was also another 5-star safety at Auburn at the same time as Zaquan Patterson. And I'm wondering, does one have any bearings on the other?
Who is he committed to? Michigan? Is it Michigan he's committed to?
Well, he's not committed to anyone. He's looking to make a decision prior to his senior year starting, and his top 5 includes Auburn, Michigan, Ohio State, FSU, and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Zaquan Patterson, and he's the number 2 ranked player at the safety position nationally. So Auburn had top 2 safeties here for Big Cat weekend, and I'm curious as to does Bolden have any bearing on Patterson's decision? Not sure if we know the answer to that, but I'm curious about that. If Bolden appears to be, if we're hoping what we're hoping with Bolden committing to Auburn.
I think that Cam Coleman had some effect on Perry Thompson and vice versa. Because those guys were talking, they obviously are friendly, but it did weigh into the decision at least some.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be the guy. And defensively, I think it's a little easier because you're not really sharing a football. You're just out there making plays.
Right.
So
and you could technically play the one position, one play the other.
Correct. Yeah. So if there's any effect, I think it's a positive one. Because if you're that guy, they're going to put you on the field defensively. You don't want all your dudes on the field defensively. There's no point. You're not saving anybody.
Right.
Right. You put your guys out there, they're going to go hit, get interceptions, knock down passes, right? So, yeah. If there is a place on defense in that defensive secondary where I think Auburn definitely needs improvement, it will probably be a safety. But yeah, I think that there are only positives there. Not only, mostly. I think there are mostly positives there from these guys together. I could see it. I see it being a positive.
KJ Bolden isn't the only person deciding on August 5th, gentlemen. 4-star defensive back Jalewis Solomon, who also attended Big Cat, makes a decision. He's according to Rivals, he's the 19th ranked player in the state of Georgia. He is the younger brother of current defensive lineman Zeke Walker. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. He's also announcing the 5th, and Big Cat also made a huge impression on him. I think he was the one who was quoted and saying, "Why not play for Hugh Freeze?" If I got that correct. He sees that things are different here at Auburn.
Yeah,
Thoughts about this.
Trevon Reed said we asked him, if you haven't gone back and watched yesterday's live, these guys did a great job just kind of covering, Ike was it was funny. Ike was directing me in the background. Like I was looking at my Apple Watch, but I was holding my phone up and he was like, get Trevon. And I'm like, on it. Right. And so get Trevon. And Trevon we say, hey, where do you think this class can finish? He proclaimed top 5. Now, here's what I've come to realize about this is that I don't think that's just bluster. I don't think that's being overly optimistic. This is the guy in the room with the recruit. He knows something. Mm-hmm. I don't think that number came out of nowhere. I don't think he was trying to generate excitement. I think that he knows they've got a true shot at finishing top 5. That's why he gave us that number. If it wasn't, I think he would have just said top 10. Now, it doesn't mean that they will finish top 5, but I think that it means that they're looking.
Reach.
Yeah,
they're with arm's reach.
Mm-hmm, yeah, they're like, we're close. We can convince this guy and this guy and that guy. He didn't tell us who those guys were. And this is complete conjecture on my part. But I think he knows. I think he knows that they have a shot of finishing very, very high in this class. So that's where it's reasonable to set your expectations. If they close the way they want to close and who they're targeting, it could be a top 5 class. That's nuts. Where's Auburn at? 14 commits right now?
14 commits.
Yeah. Do we know how many they can take in this class?
I heard the number 23, but I wasn't sure about that.
Okay. And I wonder, is that still the number, given that there are some scholarships that have freed up? I'm not even sure if that's
right.
What the number is now.
Yeah, maybe we'll cover that on a drop or something this week. But the number that they can take, because if you got 14 commits, it is 9 or 9 spots enough to get you into the top 5.
Yeah,
right. And or the 2 of those have to be 5 stars and a bunch of 4 stars. Because I think Auburn only has like 2, 3 stars committed to this class so far.
Just 2.
Yeah.
Just 2.
So I mean, it's 4 and 5 stars primarily. How many more 4 stars can they add to this call?
All of them. Every
Yikes,
4-star
man.
in the country.
Right. Like, I mean, think about it. If they can close at 9 4 stars,
we got 4 stars in the waiting room.
Or 1 5-star and a bunch of 4 stars. This is an insane job of recruiting. Crazy, because a lot of those schools ranked ahead of Auburn right now have a bunch of 3 stars on their roster.
Yeah,
this is a numbers game. They recruited a bunch of 3 stars and they got their high-profile gets for that class. But it's 3 stars filling out the back end, man. If Hugh Freeze can do it with 4s, man, woo! Yikes! Top 5, man. Trevon, I mean, like he said, it was like, hey, he was clear on 2 things. I think we can finish top 5, and we ain't done yet.
Hey, you said yikes, Mike G, but I think the word you was looking for was yikes.
No.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that in the future. We will definitely get you there. Time, just give it some time. KJ Bolden comes, someone's gonna ask you to say it again, so you might as well get ready. Riley Mobley, let's get some of these comments, guys, because you've been chomping at the bit to say some things. Riley Mobley comments and appreciate the super chat. He says Darvin Adams, Sammy Coates, Duke Williams, Darius Slayton, and Seth Williams are the receivers I can remember. Definitely time to turn up at that position.
Was Sammy Coates a 4 or 3-star coming out of high school?
It was a 3.
He was a 3, right?
3-star.
I think Seth was too, wasn't he?
Seth was a 4, depending on the
I think he may have been a 4. Yeah, I think he may have 3 or 4.
Duke was like a 5.
He was a 5 coming out of JUCO, yeah.
Right, yeah, coming out of JUCO. And I'm not sure where I think Darius Slayton was
a 4.
He was a 4. Mm-hmm. Darvin was a 3.
Darvin was a 3, right? Yeah. So a mix of, guys who weren't necessarily super highly rated coming out, but ended up being better than projected.
Yeah.
And the systems that they played in. Darvin Adams, probably one of the most underrated Auburn receivers in the history of Auburn.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was such a
100%.
solid, like, if you remember that 4th and 5, I think it was, in the Iron Bowl, where Cam throws him the dart on the sideline. Was it a fake punt?
Yeah.
And he tiptoed it on the sideline, all hands, just like a clutch catch.
Incredible hands.
One of my favorite receivers, man.
He made those catches look so routine. And the throw was on point, but the catch was, I mean, the margin for error in that was so small. Because if Cam had let him a little bit too much to the sideline, he doesn't make the catch. He doesn't have room to make the catch. But he caught it with his hands, and like, I'm just looking forward to seeing the hand talent, right, with these receivers, guys who can just make plays. There was a receiver we had, it was one of the Kyles that had this ridiculous, I think maybe the pass even came from
Davis.
Sean White. I may have been. Do you remember the one-handed catch?
I do remember.
He came up just short. Yeah, it was Kyle
Davis.
Davis. Yeah, right. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, like, we have not seen consistently that sort of playmaking at the wide receiver position. And kids like Perry Thompson are coming in. I'm looking forward to seeing those guys just make plays for their quarterback. Yeah. How awesome would it be for Walker White to just have the luxury of knowing that you can just throw it up and your guy's going to go get it?
You know, that's something that has been working very much to the advantage of Dabo Swinney and Clemson, honestly. I mean, Deshaun Watson was the biggest reason they won that first championship, but the second reason, I will still stand on this, the receiving core won them that second one because Trevor, what's his name?
Lawrence.
Yeah. He made some okay throws. The receivers on that team made him look amazing. It was them erasing mediocre throws. It was just an incredible performance, but that's part of the formula. Yes, you can have one guy that's transcended at quarterback. Yes, I don't think Trevor Lawrence was transcended in college. I think he was good.
Yeah, me neither.
The wide receivers and the defensive line for Clemson won them that second championship.
Yeah, agreed. So, you know, I mean, look at it this way, dude. There's a lot there. There's a lot of opportunity there. I think this should be the beginning of true playmakers coming through the Plains. And even this year, I mean, we're talking about recruiting, so we're projecting out to 2024 and beyond. But I think even this year, man, in a better system, you see some playmakers arise that are really going to get, 2025 recruits and 2026 recruits excited about coming to Auburn to play. It starts with utilizing the guys that you have in a way that makes other players excited because they think if he can do that with him, he's going to be able to do even more with me.
That's why you get him on the phone with DK.
That's right. I'm telling you, it was a friend of mine. You guys remember the ridiculously viral video of DK Metcalf like jumping and then he got drug tested and stuff. Right. A friend of mine, actually, they built the set that he did that on. We were talking about this last night. But he was such a ridiculous, even though like that was fake, he was such a ridiculous athlete. They were talking about like, even though that was fake, he's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous athlete. Some of these guys are ridiculous athletes. I think Julio Jones, same thing. Have you seen the slow-mo of him with his like headphones in, jumping up and like one-handed, like high pointing a football in the end zone with his pinky?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Right. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I'm like, man, like just freak athletes that you get through. One of the most, I think, and this might resonate with Ike. Like, I think Ken Dorsey was probably one of the most overrated college football quarterbacks in the history of the game. But who did he have? He had catching for him. He had like Kellen Winslow, Santana Moss. Like, I mean, all he had to do, that dude lost like 2 games as a college starter, and all he had to do was throw the ball near those guys, and they were catching it.
Yeah.
And I think he got drafted in the 7th round, by the 49ers.
Right.
And never really turned into a great, well, absolutely did not turn into a great NFL quarterback.
They knew you make it to the 7th round. They knew it wasn't you. It was everything around you.
Right.
But to B's point, you know, if you surround these guys, like imagine being that dude and having those guys around you.
Right.
That's what it feels like. That's the Joe Burrow experience.
Right.
I'm that dude and I got dudes around me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people tried to say, well, look who Burrow was throwing to. I was like, no. Go back and watch the tape. It looked like they were on Madden rookie mode. But that's because everybody was that guy.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine if Walker White is that dude, plus Perry Thompson and all these kids that are coming in. Woo! Man.
Yeah.
That could be dangerous.
I hope it is. SS Austin, appreciate the super chat. He says, just reported he said Auburn is in the top 2, referring to KJ Bolden. Referring to KJ Bolden. So it looks like it's an Auburn FSU battle for this kid.
It. Cut the check, right, Caesar?
Hey, man.
Hey,
we're going to go back to FSU and say, hey, this is what they talking. And then we're going to say, nah, we ain't losing this one.
Cut the check. That's it.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's top 2, woof.
And I'm not
break
2.
the top.
And we're not 2. All right. Anthony Hensley says KJ told us he's coming on Perry's live. I saw a lot of people comment that he may have.
I don't think that's what everybody thinks that's what he meant. I don't think that's what he meant when he said that. What I think he was saying was, hey, I'm coming over there to the pool party. Yeah. Wait for me. I'm coming over there. Like, I don't think he meant I'm about to come to Auburn. He was already in Auburn. He was saying, I'm on my way to the pool party.
Yeah. Don't throw Hugh in. I'm coming. Right? I
Don't throw him in yet.
But I've seen a lot of people take that to think that he meant he's going to be committing to Auburn, but I don't think that's what him. But hey, listen,
maybe it's a good omen, right? Maybe that was him saying, "Hey, I really am
going to be." You know, KJ got bars.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, no, I think he meant literally, I'm coming over there right now.
Right.
Yeah, to participate in the shenanigans.
Dustin Pace, welcome to the family. Good to see you, man.
He wasn't there at one point in time. So
Be rad. Email us business at the War Report. We need your shirt size and physical address. Congratulations, sir. Adrian wants to know, B Will, if KJ commits, will you cut your beard? I don't know if I want to see that, but
no, I will not. No, yeah. I will not. I will not ever.
I don't think I want to see that.
Because had my beard since I was 15.
You'll be disavowed.
15. It wasn't.
I want to see it.
Oh, you
we'll never do it.
My mom.
B Will, you look like a thumb. Don't cut your beard.
Listen, my mom has a photo album, a random photo album with a ton of pictures of Ike and Brian from college. And I was like, where did these pictures come from?
Wow.
Yeah. And I was screenshotting them and sending them to Ike. like, dude, look at your young face.
Yeah.
But there are some beardless B Will pics in there.
No, it was just low.
Was it
you hadn't grown up to my face. I wasn't without a beard because I couldn't be because my terrible skin was so bad. I can't shave because my whole face looked like I got stung by a million bees. That's why I never shave.
Yeah,
so
no. Okay. All right.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
I'm going to send you some pictures for your review, but yeah.
No, you ain't put my face on. No, I want to. No, I do not approve. I will sue you.
Troy Swain says Jeffrey Lee just made a prediction for Carter. Big news, fellas. So we'll see.
Hey, listen, Jeffrey is not normally wrong. So
I think the only one that just caught people by surprise was the Cam Coleman because that came out of left field. But usually when they put in a confidence for a kid, they have good intel.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll definitely see. D Lev says I'm still laughing my butt off at the Antonio Brown gimmick. Epic fail.
What was that about?
What a moron.
Yeah, I don't even know why he felt like he needed to insert himself in this conversation, bro. You're not from down here. You didn't go to either one of the schools. Like
yeah.
like
what
don't
you doing?
get nobody career advice, bro. You went to
Right.
Central Michigan.
Thank you,
Calm
Ike.
down,
You
man.
took the word. Don't take career advice from him.
Don't take any advice from Antonio about
And listen,
anything.
Antonio Brown is a
If
phenomenal
he ain't
wide
saying
receiver. But
don't
see,
be
here's
crazy like me,
But I'm saying,
don't
like,
listen to
Antonio Brown's not even the spokesperson for this. You went to a school that doesn't have a tradition for putting wide receivers in the NFL, and you're arguably one of the top 5 receivers in this decade. So, like, what are you saying? Like, it doesn't. If you that guy, it doesn't matter.
That's facts.
Go play ball.
That's facts.
If
So,
you
like,
that dude,
that's a stupid comment to make on its. Like, I don't care if it was Jerry Rice saying it. It's a dumb comment to make because, again, you're an example that doesn't matter if you're that good.
right?
So, like, what are you saying right now? Like, why are you involved in this conversation at all? Shut up. Go do something else with your life. Please find a hobby. But this ain't it, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antonio Brown, just a ridiculous person. I hope he gets the help he needs. In all seriousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, getting involved in the Bama Auburn
is duct tape over his mouth and removal of his devices that connect to the internet.
Lobotomize him.
Jaquan Grant says, fellas, I'm telling y'all, watching Bama and Georgia are in their fields these last couple of days of Hugh flipping these 5 stars definitely put a smile on my face. Auburn's flip city, baby.
Let me tell you about this comment I got on Twitter, Caesar, just kind of related to this. I had posted something about one of the flips, and this Georgia fan responded and was like, calm down.
You're done. We already know it's some stupid. You said a Georgia fan responded.
You guys are going.
How could you even like interpret the barking? I didn't even know.
I don't know, dude. It was like, calm down. You guys are going 6 and 6
It must have been using Google Translate when they did it. Like they just barked into their phone and it translated somehow.
It was the dumbest
Google
response.
AI is amazing.
And what it's their go-to right now seems to be like predicting, like trying to put down the recruiting momentum by talking about Auburn's likely finish to this season.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something I don't really understand. I don't get that. Like you have to start somewhere. I mean, regardless, you have to start somewhere. What is that? What Auburn is going to finish this season have to do with us being excited about what they're doing in recruiting for next year?
Which is why it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Hurt people.
It's
They're hurting, Mike. That's what's happening.
Hurt people.
Yeah. You're going to have a bad season. You know what I mean? It's just you're hurt.
It's their pain talking.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I just think I remember.
I like what you did.
I told y'all. Well, I mentioned this a lot. I got a group chat with my cousin who's a Bama fan, and a mutual friend of ours who's a Bama fan. And of course, the last 15 years have been tough, right? Once Saban was alone at Bama because Kirby had left, right? And I was like, oh man, y'all losing Kirby. We're talking like 2016. He was like, man, I ain't worried about that. I said, okay, I need you to listen to me, son. He's older than me, by the way. I need you to listen to me. Kirby Smart going to Georgia is the worst thing that could happen for the Alabama dynasty. He's like, wow, we got Saban. Saban built it all. He knows. I was like, no. It's not about coaching. It's not about who the coach is. Georgia has the resources to compete in recruiting.
Right.
And now, instead of having every top tier defensive recruit come and fill the coffers at Alabama, the best defensive recruits will have a choice to make because Kirby and Georgia can put just as attractive a package in front of a recruit and his family as Alabama could. But now they have legitimate concern to question, well, are you the guy who put this defense together like it was, or was it him? And Kirby's can tell you that it's him. And what we now know, years in the future, I have more reason to believe that it was Kirby Smart than it was purely Nick Saban as the head coach, as far as what the defense did on the field. Fracturing the talent base was bad for Alabama. They had a monopoly on top-tier talent because of how Nick Saban started recruiting, creating the arms race in recruiting that we now are living through today that's been skyrocketed by NIL. The worst thing for Georgia and Alabama is that we actually have our hand in the pot as a legitimate threat, not just one that's going to poach one or two every 4 or 5 years. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Joseph Lewis. We'll take him. Or just me, Joseph Phillips. Joseph Phillips, we'll take him. Thank you. Perry Thompson, well, we'll take him. Riddick, we'll get him off your hands too. We're talking about stalwarts, players that could be the centerpieces of elite defenses or offenses for either one of these teams. You only had to fight really each other for. Well, LSU could really fight Bama for a few of those, but even they were losing when Bama was at its peak. This is so different because now you don't just have your pick of 5 stars where you have to refuse high 4s, because that's what it used to be for Alabama. We benefited from that because, oh, you don't want that dude? Your class is 2-packed with 5 stars? We'll take the 4-star off your hands. Thank you. And hope it turns out for the best. It's way different when now, instead of fielding a secondary full of 5 stars, you got 1 5 and 3 4s. It's not that they can't be great. Stars are not the only determination for how good a player will be. But boy, oh boy, when your 4s are just the bench and now those 4s are starting, well, you getting thinner. You're getting thinner. Your pool that you're pulling from of elite talent is thinning out. You are being weakened just by somebody else being stronger, because there are not unlimited number of high 4s and 5s. That is the limit on any one team's dynasty. Yes, there is great talent, but you still need to be able to make 3s into 4s and 4s into 5s or 3s into 5s, or however that development works, because just basing it or just running things off of elite talent that you yourself have access to and nobody else, that junk is over. It's over, buddy. You ain't finna just have the only person with the elite talent on tap. Now, everybody's got it. Can you still win and beat everybody around you when you're not the only one bringing the gun to the gunfight?
Right.
We'll see.
Hey, so that comment, Ike said that it was about Riddick, right? So I was saying, like, Hugh Freeze is putting everybody on notice that you can't just come into the state, pluck who you want anymore, and then make off like a bandit. And the Georgia fan said, Georgia is not worried about Auburn. Let's not overreact. You will win 6 games this year. Riddick is going there because he will get playing time. I don't understand these comments.
Doesn't Riddick, didn't he expect to play at Georgia too?
I think
he's coming
when
to
you're
Georgia
a
to sit on the
5-star
bench.
player, you expect
going to
playing
Auburn to play.
time everywhere.
What?
Right? Like, you're a 5-star player.
I'm coming
What
to
are you
Georgia
talking
to sit.
about, dude? Yeah, like, I mean, I think he expects to play no matter where he goes. If this is a backhanded comment saying he doesn't want to compete for playing time, whatever. But what does Auburn winning 6 games this year have to do? Like, I don't understand. They are losing their minds right now over this.
This is the beginning, though, and I'm glad they're losing their minds. They
losing
might
their
not.
minds.
Maybe they realize it. Maybe they don't. I don't know if they really realize it, but whether they do or not, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
Thinning it out.
Yeah,
Sure.
I understand the comment. I was like, all right, cool, bro. Yes, we know Auburn could win 6 games this year. That's a bowl game, right? And still, the way they're projected, if they do, they're going to beat somebody who you think they shouldn't beat.
Right.
Either way, Hugh Freeze is going to put something on paper that's going to look promising this year. The only way he doesn't is if they win 4 or 5 games.
Right.
I don't see that happening. So good luck. They won 5 games last year in chaos. Add some structure, man, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll grab a few more. Mike, speak to this. Better than best says, is there any chance we can flip Cam Coleman before Texas A&M?
Oh man, he's going to A&M, dude. He's going to A&M. Same way the Perry Thompson is coming to Auburn. Coleman's going to A&M, unless, like B said, Jimbo gets fired. The coach gets fired. All bets are off.
Now,
So
hey,
ask Brian. How likely is it that he gets fired?
Say it together. Say it with me, guys.
Hey.
listen, man. If Jimbo gets fired and we get Cam Coleman, I don't even have a bottle of anything that's unopened, waiting for a good moment. But I might have to buy one just in case. Like, I mean, that's the best case. That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful.
Be amazing. Be amazing. Von Nigel Brooks says, "Is this the best linebacker class of the last decade?"
Ooh.
It might not even be through.
All right.
It might not even be done. It could be.
Check in 4 weeks.
Tell Trevon Reed, no, we not. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
The answer is we are never done. It'll be over after signing day. He'll still be saying that.
Margot, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family.
Hey.
Welcome.
I think a dope thing to see this coaching staff do is get to the point to where you're focusing on a few. Offensive line. I think Kamarion Franklin is still out there. He did not visit Auburn last week, as we reported that he did. I know he's a defensive guy, 5-star defensive lineman that they're looking to get in to visit Auburn. I know Tennessee is a big player in his recruitment. They want to make inroads with him, a few offensive linemen. They're going to begin turning their attention, and what a lot of your programs are doing, your Bamas, your Georgias. Georgia has, 25 commits, 26 commits. They're focusing on 2025. They're past 2024. And I think where commits. Hugh Freeze's staff wants to get to is where middle of the season, they're working on 2025 kids. 2024 is already locked up. And I think that's what's so encouraging about seeing a lot of these kids shutting down their recruitment. I don't have to continue to re-recruit a lot of these guys with the same energy. I can now direct my attention to future classes. So I'm excited to see what happened with offensive tackle, who we target. I know Reese Baker was a target. Not quite sure where they stand with him or where he stands with Auburn at this point, but we'll hear more. We definitely intend to have a good friend of the show from auburnsports.com, Caleb, to come talk recruiting. He's already boots on ground at Auburn covering recruiting and Big Cat Weekend, so he wasn't able to join us today, but we'll definitely expect to have him on our show in a future live to kind of talk recruitment and where Auburn currently stands. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Ike, tell the folks what they need to be doing, man.
Come on and become a member of the War Rapport Green Name Gang, man. Got a lot of film that we're going to be doing, going to be giving away tickets as we get into the season, going to be doing some exclusive live streams coming up for you guys. We got a lot of stuff planned. So you guys make sure that you stay locked in with us right here at the War Rapport. If you are a member and you want to gift a membership, you can do that before the live chat shuts down. Somebody's going to get a free month of membership on you. Make sure you check us out on podcasts, the whole network, College Loop, Uptempo, and Auburn Express, all part of the War Rapport pod network. Today's show sponsor is Golden's Cast Iron. Make sure you hit them up. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off of weights and kettlebells. Listen, man, the summer is shutting down in like 8 months because I don't know when the summer actually ends around here. But working out inside, I recommend it. So get you some weights at your house and use this code to get you some. Hey, listen, man, if you go outside, just, make sure your insurance is paid up. Code TWR for the fire pits, though. If you want to chill outside, buy a fire pit or get your grill on, make sure you do that. HelloFresh, once again, thank them for sponsoring the War Report. Go to HelloFresh.com/report50. Use code report50 for 50% off of your purchase. Free shipping on your first order. HelloFresh is the #1 meal kit out there. Another shout out to Harmon Mechanical. They've been a great sponsor of the War Report during the summer. Head over to harmonmechanical.com. Harmon Mechanical is there when you need air. Hit them up, 334-219-0717. If you didn't get a chance to win something, you can hit us up at warreport.com and purchase a little something, support what we got going on. New merch going to be dropping out there, y'all. Hadn't been hitting up them home team t-shirts like I thought y'all would, but it's all good. We still got those pumping out there. New merch going to be dropping soon, so y'all stay tuned for that. And that's it, man.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I know the excitement is up. We'll definitely keep you posted as if there's any news drop during the week recruiting-wise, but until then, share this video, guys. Like the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at The War Rapport, TW Rapport on TikTok. We will keep you posted on any news that breaks, but definitely check us out. We'll be here for the morning drop on Monday morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.